Welcome everyone to a new gameplay series on Atlantic Fleet. This is really going to be a continuation of my Rule the Waves playthrough as Germany. I had a lot of fun with that one, and I think that we could have a lot of fun basically just, continuing the story, continuing the saga of Admiral Tortuga. So basically, even though we kind of won the game more or less as the World War I Rule the Waves start, let's keep playing as Germany in Atlantic Fleet, which has some similarities between Rule the Waves. I actually will probably do an overview of this game. I won't do much tutorializing in this. I'll probably leave that for the overview. So if that's already been posted in the future, and you're interested in kind of getting an idea of what to do in this game, look for that. Or if you want kind of like a review, an overview, I do have some negative comments about this game, but I mean, it is an iOS port. That's kind of probably sums up. It's a great game, but it's an iOS port. Probably sums up my opinion. Anyways, let's just go jump into Battle of the Atlantic. I did a test campaign, but I haven't played very much. I played maybe 4 or 5 battles so far, so this will be... I think I get the gist of the game. It's a pretty simple game, so there shouldn't be too many surprises. We're going to play with almost all the options turned off, which is probably not how you ideally will play. But just since I haven't really learned the game perfectly yet, yeah. Something that would probably make this game a little better, maybe I should turn on no enemy damage report. Although, actually, I'm going to leave it on because it's kind of fun to see. And I don't think you can really take advantage of the information too much. My experience is you cannot. Enemy ships can disengage. I want to be able to fight them. Limited visibilities. This is probably a very good thing. Longer range start. Definitely useful if you have aircraft carriers, but otherwise, these probably are tandem. If you do long range start, you probably want to limit your visibility so that people can't see each other right away. I don't know, but I think that for YouTube, these two are just going to slow the game down, and the game can be a bit slow already. So I'm not going to turn on wind effects player shells yet because I don't really like the wind. They don't give you a strength of the wind, although they give you a direction, and that to me is, it's hard to calculate anything based on an ambiguous wind strength. It's unknown. Okay, so we'll just leave it all how it is. One of the things I really don't like about this is you can't rebuild ships once you lose them. I'll get into that later. So let's start a new campaign, which will erase my old one. Unfortunately, it was a good campaign, but the recording of that unfortunately was corrupted. So here we go, fresh start. So this is your strategic map. And we're going to, first things first, move our Grafspee or Grafspee or however you say it. We're going to move her north. We're going to bring the Lutzow over here. I don't think we've spotted any convoys yet since it's just the very beginning of the war. But we're going to move those guys north. And we're going to kind of spread these guys out into what I think is a better position. So something like this, and let's get these guys to go up here. I think this is going to be the main crossing point. I'm not sure if it's better for these guys to be here or possibly here. That is probably more the pathway we want. I'm going to combine a lot of my destroyers and battleships and all those things into a different fleet setting. So let's get all those guys into this one square so I can do what I want. And then on the very first turn, we're going to start off by building a whole bunch of submarines. Now, this is one of the grievances I have with this game, is that you see how it says buy ship for 65,000. Well, we currently don't have the renown for that anyways, but this is the problem. Ship already in fleet or sunk. What happens is if you lose a Scharnhorst class, which I think I have a Scharnhorst in the Gneisenau currently in the fleet. Once they're lost, you cannot rebuild them. You cannot build any ships in the class that didn't exist in real life, which I have a small problem with. It doesn't make sense. If you wanted to live a little ahistorically and build, let's say the Germans decided to go with more battleships or, I don't know, you cannot do that. You're restricted. And I really hope that's something they patch, or that they add some more potential ships that were in each class and give you the option to build more, because as it is right now, they'd really tie the hands of the players. And what's more, you can even select an option for the AI, the opponent, your enemy, to be able to rebuild their sunk ships, but you yourself cannot. So you you're kind of stuck, and I don't like that. But we do have a few Bismarck classes that we can build eventually, but they're not available yet, and we don't have the Renown. We only have 10,000. What are we going to do? We're going to build, of course, as Germany, some submarines. And we don't have to worry about running out of submarines, because that's the one thing that they really provided in spades. You can see that there's, what, probably, I don't know, 60 or so submarines that we can build from the Type 7. But since the Type 9 is already available to us, and we have, you know, another 60 or so there, 3 groups of this list, let's just get some Type 9s. So I'm going to buy 3 of these. I'm just going to take our Renown down to basically nothing. And this should help us in the rating scheme. In fact, I think I have enough. Why don't we actually build 1 Type 7? Yeah, let's do it. So which one was it? The U-31, I think, is the one we built? Yeah, the U-31. Okay, so the U-31 is going to be special, but, whoops. The other ships are going to, let's see, we want the U-31 to join her Type 7 comrades. So let's just move her like this, and let's be a little more cautious with these guys, move them north. Okay, very good. Now, if we get into combat here, we have 13. You can only bring a max of 10 ships into a fight, I think. So we'd have to choose, but I don't think we're going to get into a fight immediately. Everything's done, and week 0.5 of September 1939 is over. Oh, it looks like we're actually engaging a ship. So this will be a very nice opening battle for me to demonstrate the combat mechanics. One that obviously we're certainly going to win. Even though the British destroyer starts with the initiative, that means they go first. Unless, I don't think they have air support here. Maybe they do. If they do, I'm in real trouble, because I'm going to end up losing a heavy cruiser to a destroyer. Air power is, in this game, extremely potent, as it is in real life, so I can't hate on that too much. But do they fire or do they bomb? Nope, they didn't do anything. Okay, so let's take a look at the map. They are, it looks like, starboard side, maybe 30 degrees off. So there they are. Okay, good. Now what is my move? I think we're going to go full speed ahead. That seems fine. But let's just immediately turn. I'd rather engage them at distance, obviously. So let's go even like 20 degrees to port. Start moving away. So we'll move like that. That'll bring, hopefully, our broadside to bear. It will. We'll target the Velox. It's 20,000 yards away. Now, another complaint I have about this game is they modeled the gun physics very, very simply. If you know anything about like math, like sine x equals x for very small x. Well, they've actually approximated sine x to always be equal to x. And what I mean by that is, if your gun goes from, let's say, 0, which it currently is at, to, what does it go to, 30 or so? Oh, this one can go till 40 or something. So 0 to 40 degrees. They've modeled it so that every degree you go up has a linear effect on your distance, which should only be true. It is more or less true from, let's say, like less than 10 degrees, but once you get beyond 10 degrees, sine x equals x is only a first order approximation, and as you get to higher numbers, okay, I'm sure this isn't super interesting, but as you get to higher numbers, that approximation fails. You need to take into account the second order effects. Anyway, that's my physics talking. We don't need that here. We just know that it's a linear increase, which makes things really simple. In fact, what I've done in games where I was like, I really didn't want to lose this fight, I've taken a ruler out and I've measured a shot to get exactly what the degree per distance is, and then I've, you can use it to get pinpoint accuracy anywhere. Okay, so now that we have our movement phase done, we go into our attack phase. We don't really have a good way of estimating the first shot unless we knew what kind of elevation should correspond to what kind of distance. What I'm going to do is just follow their advertisement. They are spotting crew recommends an elevation of 13.9. I'm going to go to 14 because, if I'm honest, more often than not, they're short on these. Although, sometimes they get it right on, and then me shooting a little higher, I end up missing. I'm not sure if I even need to use my 11-inch shells against this guy, because it is a heavy cruiser versus a destroyer, but let's try landing at least one barrage of 11 inches before we switch to the lower caliber weapons. Because you do have persistent ammo in this game, which means that if I get into several fights with my heavy cruiser in a row, it's possible I'll start running low on my 11-inch shells. So 14 inches, which is more or less the recommendation, and we're going to fire. Let's see how we do. Oh, wow, so close. That was extremely close. Okay, they chose not to respond. Maybe they're already starting to board their rafts, their life vests, because they know it's probably not going to go well for them. Okay, so we were just barely a little bit short. But one thing that has happened since our last one, which was like, what, 14, is they've moved a lot closer. So here, if we put on the shots we fired, if you were able to just put a ruler on your screen, and this is 14, and then measure the distance from this, you could get exactly what kind of distance you'd need. Now I'm estimating, since we're moving forward about this much, and then he moved forward about this much, that appears to me to be like, maybe we should shorten it by about 1.5. So I'm going to shorten it by 1.4, let's say, because maybe this is 1.4 out of 15. So let's just shorten it to 12.6. 12.6. Okay, 12.7 actually, because I did overshoot. I did undershoot. Let's try to bracket. 12. Oh, way short. Wow, that one was really close actually, but we know we're really short. So our movement was by 1.3 or 1.2 in the end. I don't remember what I ended up choosing. Let's find out. You can also use this splash chart, which shows you that what you're fired at, which I guess we fired at 12.7. It was a little bit short. Now they have, it looks like our shot before would be pretty good now. So let's shorten it to maybe 12.2. Because dropping it by 1.3 for a turn was too much. We probably need to drop it by at least 0.7. Let's go to 12. He didn't. 12.7, we moved a little bit. We can tell how much our movement is impacting the distance by looking at this. If we're at 90 degrees, we're moving perpendicular, which means that the distance is not changing between us. Since we're at 80 degrees, it means that our ship is moving almost perpendicular, but we're closing the gap a little bit. Now they're moving almost directly at us, so they're closing the gap a lot. I'm going to wing it and say 12.2 for this. Okay, let's go 12.2. Shells away. Well, I guess we almost bracketed him. I might have been a little bit short still. He's actually in range to fire his weapon now. I doubt he'll put things on target on his first volley. Not bad, though. Not bad. It's pretty close. How will we respond? Well, let's keep moving away. So let's keep moving. Let's go even 10 degrees away. We don't want him to close. Obviously, we want to keep him at distance. So we're moving exactly at 90 degrees, which means that our distance is not going to increase, but his movement is going to increase the distance. Now, he should still short a little bit. So let's just go to 12. We dropped by 5, and it was still too much. Let's drop by... Okay, let's go to 11.9. We're only going to drop by 3. Instead of dropping by 5, we'll drop by 3. I think... Okay. That should... Okay, let's just drop by 2. Let's go to 12 degrees. And shells away. Looking good. Oh, very good. So they've now taken damage. It's kind of fun to click on their ship and see, even though it's unrealistic, to actually see what kind of damage we did. Uh-oh. Oh, they're a little far. So let's just quickly double-click on their ship, and it looks like, wow, that shell did a lot. Yellow means it'll be repaired by the next turn. Orange means it's going to be repaired, but not next turn. And then red means it's destroyed until you go back into port. That's my understanding. So I think we can, let's go to our ship, and let's just see how many shells we have. Well, we have like 700 shells, so let's not be too conservative with them. Let's just go ahead and open up with another 11-inch barrage. So move first. I think since we're about at 90 degrees, I'm going to just keep moving where we are. And yeah, we're still moving away a little bit, but I want us to stay basically perpendicular. And let's see, how did his movement... Okay, so we probably need to close in by another, I would say drop us to 11.7. Let's do 11.7. Did he move much? He moved from here to here to here. So it didn't look like it moved too much. 11.7. Okay, shells away. Another good hit. Oh, wow. Now I think we can go to the secondary guns because, well, the ship is crippled, right? We just want to make sure that we kill him before he can launch torpedoes, because that is obviously the main disadvantage. And looks like those are going to be really short. Not really short, huh? Just short enough, though. Okay, so we keep moving in our current direction. We know that they're basically sunk. They're probably not even moving very much anymore, so we see that this was a hit, and now they're here. So they really didn't move that much compared to the last turn. They moved from here to here, and now they're only moving from here to here. Which probably means that 11.7 should drop to 11.5, 11.5, maybe 11.6 even. And if we switch guns, we're not going to have as good of targeting. So let's just go ahead and finish them off because, like I said, it's not so hard to rearm. Probably not worth our time trying to min-max the shell usage quite yet. So let's go down to 11.5 and shells away. There she goes. Felix is sinking, and that's our first mission. Really good. So complete success. We get the 1300 prestige for that, or whatever it's called. I think it's prestige. Renown. Prestige, renown, it's all the same. Now, note that sinking the enemy ships, warships, has no effect on your victory condition, which is sinking merchant ships. They play this. They don't really allow you control of the strategy, the German strategy. So the German strategy that you're forced to put yourself into is just convoy raiding. That's the name of the game. I probably should have had these guys join up. That was a mistake, but it's too late now. Let's just see what kind of ships we have here. Are these all types? So these already are some Type 9s. Good. What do we have here? Type 7, okay. What do we have here? Type 7. And what do we have here? Type 9. Okay, that means that we probably want one more Type 7. I prefer to have 3 submarines per raiding block. So let's do this. Let's swap these guys, because eventually I want my Type 9s closer and my Type 7s further. Just because I find you have more action closer to England, and I prefer my better submarines there. Now, how do we want to do this? I think we're going to keep our battleships together, so let's give him a light cruiser and maybe 2 destroyers as well, which is going to leave us with 2 destroyers, 2 light cruisers, and a heavy cruiser. I think the best way for us to do this is when we include these 2 heavy cruisers, our battleship, we should have like one main kill everything fleet. So we will actually even include the Admiral Hipper in this group. 2 battleships, 1 heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, and 2 destroyers. Basically, we don't want to lose our battleships. So they're going to stay in this very strong fleet. That's the way I'm going to play. So let's send those guys over here. So that's a fleet of 6. What we have left over is going to be, let's actually move this guy here. Let's get the submarines to move into England. Don't move into England with your ships, your surface ships, because the air raiding ability of England will just sink everything. I learned that in my first attempt. So, a word to the wise. Don't do that. Okay, so let's see. Now with the few ships we have left, we have a light cruiser, 2 light cruisers, 2 destroyers. I think this is going to be the perfect fleet. Each one of these light cruisers and destroyers will pair up with each one of my heavy cruisers down here. And these will be small raiding fleets, which hopefully don't encounter anything too big. If they do, what we'll do is probably just deploy smoke and try to disengage. That's the idea. So even though I moved this guy in, I probably shouldn't have. I should have let these guys move ahead. So we'll just wait 1 turn. Now we can move these guys over to Iceland and move these guys in here. Very good. So next turn they can go down here, and we'll get the 2 heavy cruisers to pair up so that they protect each other. And at this point, it looks like we're starting to get information on the convoys. So we see that this is the convoy route, no surprise, and I have my submarines in position, more or less. Let's keep moving this guy over. We want to get these guys who are Type 9s closer, so let's just swap. I think that these, what is the 29 is Type 7, yeah, good. So let's get the Type 7s over here. That Type 7 will join this one. We don't have enough renown, or do we? I can't remember. Shipyard. Yeah, we don't have enough renown yet for another Type 7 quite yet. We need a little bit more. But after I get one more, after that I'll just focus solely on the Type 9s, because the Type 9s are better. And it's not like we're going to ever run out of Type 9s. We can lose one almost every week, and we'd still be good for at least a year. So, very good. And I think that that's probably a good place for us to call this first episode to a close. So I hope you're enjoying watching the continuation of our German fleet, especially because it is, once again, Germany against Great Britain. And maybe we can win this Battle of the Atlantic. So I hope you enjoyed this. Since it is the first episode of a series, if you did, please leave a like, just to get this video searchable. And you know, if you've watched me at all, that I don't ask for that on any other videos. So thanks a lot, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.